This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
Will the prodigal son forego his union cabinet post to state politics after a Tamil magazine triggers speculation? Stalin says his brother made no such statement. PMK attempts to rise from the ashes with the one-year card. Dr. Ramadas threatens statewide protests if reservation demands are not met. Two labourers at HCL news site are crushed to death after a tall pipe comes collapsing on them. Police detained one from the construction company. A father moves the Madras High Court for his son's education and takes on the school that's pushing him to the limits.
The donation of 20,000 rupees had more weightage and importance than High Court order.
Muralidharan takes a swipe at Bishan Singh. Bedi says he's a controversy monger. Bedi repeatedly calls Murali a chucker. And the Indians are on the back foot in their second test against Sri Lanka. Sachin scores his 48th test century. Good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Ndtv-Hindu. I am Evelyn Matthew. The politics in Tamil Nadu is upbeat and at its peak ahead of the assembly elections. We'll get you all of that in just a while. A look at the national stories as well. Chaos in Parliament over price rise for the second day. Speaker rejects the opposition demand for a vote. The Lok Sabha is adjourned for the day. Tragedy strikes Pakistan in the worst ever crash in the nation. All 159 passengers on board have died. Details of 25 calls between Amit Shah and accused cop-turn approver N.K. Amin during the alleged killing are out. Visiting Prime Minister Rob Bitton seconds India's bid for a seat in the UN Security Council. Two labourers were crushed to death at HCL's new facility at a special economic zone in Chennai today. A pipe that carried construction debris from the top floor of the building came collapsing down on the workers off the ground. Police blame negligence and has detained one person from the construction company. Sam Daniel sent us this report.
I'm at the HCL's upcoming facility at a special economic zone near Sholinganallur outside Chennai. Two workers were actually crushed to death when debris from a 70 feet high pipe fell on them, crushing them to death. Police say it's a clear negligence because these workers were not given helmet and any other protective gear. They've taken into custody one person from this construction company.
Find it's a negligent conduct on the part of the management. We are taking into custody of the manager, site engineer for the inquiry. Further investigation is on in this case.
Were there any safety measures like were the workers provided helmets and things like that, sir?
No, not like that. That's why they are taking the site engineer into the custody.
And the color and the manner that the Edthodra, pretty Saji, pretty Nago, Ayo, you certain Nagan Alper Wodi, William and the dog. I am a mama killer and there.
In Chennai with camera person Edwin, Sam Daniel, Find TV.
Well, a very unfortunate accident there. Now, but on to our top story. Will Union Cabinet Minister Arigiri quit from his post at the centre to return home to state politics? Well, that's been the big debate triggered off by an article published in a Tamil magazine, which has said that Arigiri has decided to quit after the monsoon session of the parliament. At a youth wing meet in the city, though, M.K. Stalin, his brother, said that there was no such statement by his brother Arigiri at all.
அந்த மாதிரி செய்தி ஒன்றும் கிடையாது, தப்பான செய்தி அது, சும்மா தவறான செய்தி அது, எனக்கு தெரியல அது மாதிரி செய்திலாம்.
And our executive editor Sanjay Pinto and senior editor Radhika Iyer gave us an insight into this issue.
That clearly is an indication that the family at this stage is being very, very guarded, wants to play it safe. In fact, just a few minutes ago, like you were saying, M.K. Stalin, the Deputy Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, has at the Youth Wing press meet just a few minutes ago, in fact, clarified that the reports of M.K. Argiri, his brother, resigning as the Union Chemicals Minister is completely false. He's also said that he has no idea of any such report. Now, the fact that something like this has actually come out today in the news is thanks to this very report in a vernacular magazine, Sanjay, which as usual has been indicating that M.K. Argiri wants to resign from the post of the Union Chemicals Minister
Radhika,
soon after
sorry
the
to
monsoon
interrupt you
session.
here. Yes, Radhika. Now, in fact, we do know that this magazine is actually known to be close to the MK Alagiri camp. So, is it a war also being fought very subtly through newspapers, through channels, through magazines? And is this unity between the two brothers? Just recently we know that at the airport, Delhi airport, Alagiri is supposed to have waited for half an hour to receive his brother M.K. Stalin. The two are supposed to have had breakfast together. Is this just a facade? Is this unity just superficial? Or if you scratch the surface, is Alagiri's burning desire going to come out?
Well, absolutely, Sanjay. In fact, if you remember at the grand birthday bash of the Chief Minister just a few days ago, when he turned 86, there was this gala function that took place right here in Chennai, where, of course, M.K. Stalin was there on the dais. However, M.K. Argiri was right down there. Even someone like a Khushbu, who is a new entrant into the DMK, was sitting there on the dais. All of this, perhaps, according to very close associates of M.K. Argiri, has not gone down well with the Union Minister, of course. And we do know that this has been, of course, unofficial at this stage, but there have been reports of him being not very happy with his post in the center, because his interest has always been in the state. And in fact, a few months ago, he had openly said that he wants to, in fact, perhaps even contest for elections within the party. So clearly, M.K. Argiri at this stage, perhaps maybe quiet, but this perhaps is an indication that there is a calm before the storm. We will have to wait and see whether he will actually go ahead and make it official that he is unhappy with his post in the center and wants to actually play his card in at the state level, and whether even before he does that, the DMK family per se will be able to control his aggressiveness at this stage of this disgruntled son of the Chief Minister, to try and contain it at least till the elections are over, so that they ensure that any open split at this moment will mean advantage Jayalalitha.
And joining us on News Tonight is senior journalist Mr. Rangarajan, who joins us with his take on this story from our Hindu studios. Sir, do you believe that Stalin coming out and saying that his brother has never said anything of the sort is a comment of convenience by Stalin that more or less suits him in a way?
Yeah, as far as Mr. Stalin is concerned, he may not like to comment on these news reports. And even if you notice, Mr. Adagiri, the Union Minister concerned himself, has never spoken directly on this subject. He has not shown which way he is inclined at any press conference or in any press release. But it's an open secret that Adagiri would like to play a larger role in the state politics rather than be confined to Delhi. And there have been hints dropped in the last few months that Adagiri would like to play a leading role in the party affairs in the state. Because you see, in the Dravidian parties like the DMK and the ADMK, serving time in parliament is always looked at as occupying the second rung of the party hierarchy, and people who could not be accommodated here in the state have been provided berths in Delhi. So that's how it's been generally looked at. So it's generally the leading lights of the party would like to play a prominent role in the state right here in Tamil Nadu, and Adagiri, left to himself, would like to play an important role in Arivalyam, this is DMK headquarters.
Right. If that does happen, how do you believe things will change if Adagiri does come back homewards, leaving that post of the Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister?
Yeah, at the moment, I think the DMK leadership prefers Mr. Adegri to be in Delhi, and also prefers Mr. Stalin to be virtually second in command in Chennai, and they would not like that equation to be disturbed. However, things may not be all that rosy, because Adegri is constantly eyeing a suitable position in the DMK headquarters at Arivalem, and is looking at playing a bigger role in the next year's assembly elections, which are very crucial, and everyone in political circles is aware that Adegiri's clout in the party is growing, and he would like to have a much larger sphere of activity in next year's assembly elections in Tamil Nadu.
All right, thanks very much indeed, Mr. Rangarajan, for joining us tonight on News Tonight and talking to us about this issue. Well, certainly the heat is on in Tamil Nadu. It's not just the DMK, but other political parties too that are trying with their heart and soul to capitalize on their vote banks ahead of the General Assembly elections. Today it was the Patali Makkal Katchi in action. The party that faced repeated electoral routes recently has decided to play its one-year card effectively.
அரசு பணிகளில் வன்னிய நிலைமை அரசு பணிகளில் வன்னிய நிலைமை பட்டியல் எடுக்கிறோம் பாருங்கள் முதல்வரே பட்டியல் எடுக்கிறோம் பாருங்கள் முதல்வரே.
It's reservation politics again in Tamil Nadu, and this time PMK wants an exclusive 20% quota for the one-year community. The party is playing the caste card in time to capitalize on its vote bank before the 2011 assembly elections. Smarting from the snub it got from the ruling DMK, the party's founder Ramadas is intent on ensuring that people don't forget the violence in 1987, which led to the formation of this party.
அடுத்த போராட்டம் 1987 செப்டம்பர் மாதம் அந்த செய்த போராட்டத்தை விட இனி நாங்கள் எங்களுடைய கோரிக்கை நிறைவேறவில்லை என்று சொன்னால் இனி நாங்கள் அடுத்து செய்ய இருக்கின்ற போராட்டம் மிக கடுமையான போராட்டமாக வன்னியர்களுடைய வாழ்வா சாவா வன்னியர்களுடைய வாழ்வா சாவா என்பதை நிர்ணயிக்கக்கூடிய போராட்டமாக கடுமையான போராட்டமாக அந்த போராட்டம் இருக்கும் என்று இந்த நேரத்திலே நாங்கள் சொல்லிக்கொள்ள விரும்புகின்றோம்.
So what exactly happened in 1987? The then one-year Sangam began protesting in the northern districts, demanding reservation in jobs and education. The protesters axed huge trees along the national highways, completely cutting off road transport. Police resorted to firing, killing more than 21 protesters. Political tension continued for more than 7 days. Public transport had to be operated with police vehicles on tow. Curfew was imposed on public transport after 9 p.m. for security reasons. The government finally succumbed to their demands.
வென்றெடுப்போம் 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 தனி ஒதுக்கீட்டை வென்றெடுப்போம் தனி ஒதுக்கீட்டை வென்றெடுப்போம்.
Caste is where it all started for the PMK, and the party believes that if they play their cards smartly, caste is what will keep them safe this elections. Bureau Report, Ndtv-Hindu.
And PMK leader Mr. Velu spoke to our executive editor Sanjay Pinto about the PMK's future plans and also the party's justification for asking for reservations.
I want to make it amply clear, PMK as of now does not believe in violence.
As of now?
As of now.
Okay.
Because
in the past, we have
come a long way, where our leader, Dr. Ayya, has been teaching us to approach problems in a peaceful way, so that we
So no more cutting trees and blocking roads?
No, not at all.
Because now you have Pasumai Taigam. You can't.
We are planting lakhs and lakhs of trees.
Okay.
On the 25th.
To atone for what happened, all the trees that you cut.
25th of this month, when this is the birthday of our leader, we planted trees everywhere. And in fact, we are more than amply compensated.
Talking of trees, are you now going back to your roots in a sense? Because you did try to get that Rajya Sabha seat for Dr. Anbamani Ramdas. I know the party was extremely miffed and upset that you didn't get it. Also, that almost became a kind of a condition to get back to the alliance. Revolving door politics never changes in Tamil Nadu. Now that you realize that the DMK doesn't want to really oblige you this time, that you're going back to your roots, to the one-year community, to appease that community. We do know that the one-year community has 15% vote share in the state. So is that your game plan now, sir?
No, the game plan is now the one-year community has the single largest community in the state. In fact, it is where the predominantly in most of the northern districts.
In northern Tamil Nadu, but you have a considerable sway there. But there is also a one-year lobby within the DMK, within the AIDMK. So there's no monopoly as such of the one-year thing, because the one-year Sangam has also attacked the PMK in the past, saying that you're actually practicing family politics. And
not at all, because what I'm trying to say is the one-year Sangam, when it started as a party based on the people belonging to one-year Sangam. Today, this party is encompassing all the communities. It is an indication that the party is getting strengthened. Panagram is a kind of message to Tamil Nadu politics that this party has got a stronghold, not only Panagram, in the North Tamil Nadu.
All right, let me if I can ask you to actually stick your neck out at this stage, as we sit today on the 27th. What do you feel? Do you believe that the PMK will go back to the DMK?
I cannot say that now. Why? Because it is my leader.
Do you desire? Do you want the PMK to go back to the DMK? No, as I said,
in an alliance, I mean, anything can happen in politics.
Do you rule out the PMK going back to Amma?
No, that I cannot commit now.
You kept all the options open.
Options open. Why? Because in India, in fact, one thing is the election is far away. 1 year. It is too immature, too premature to say that I will go to this party, I will go to it. I will strengthen my party. I will say that as I did it wonderfully well in Pannagaram, we will see that in all the constituencies where we are going to contest, we will definitely play colours.
You will keep the mango ripe. Whether with calcium carbonate or not, but you will keep the mango ripe, whether it's artificially ripened or not.
No, we don't believe in artificial ripe.
You don't believe in the pesticides also, I know, yes.
First of all, mango is very sweet. Everybody likes mango. So I think people of Tamil Nadu will continue to like mango.
Well, today, disgruntled residents watched on as the first building on Wall Tax Road came crumbling down to rubble. This was part of the work carried out by corporation officials who have been demolishing buildings that have no renewed leases as of yet. And Ndtv-Hindu was the one to get those first visuals. About 100 police personnel had been brought in to avoid any law and order situation in the area. The public alleged that the corporation was taking over land which actually belonged to the Public Works Department and claimed that the corporation had given them no prior warning. But to that, the officials did mention off camera that the residents had been notified about a year ago.
There is no widening at all, road widening at all in this area, and no this metro rails or something like that is not coming over here. Only they are from public they are taking this property that it belongs to corporation property, but I have given the proof also that it is not a corporation property, this is a PWD property.
Now, in what looks like an unavoidable standoff between a school and a parent, the father of a student says he was forced to give 5 orders from the Madras High Court to help his son get through his final stage in school. Pir Mohammed tracks this undying effort by that parent.
Karthikeyan is a businessman. His son Aditya, attending class 11, was expelled by his school in Ooty for poor performance. But Karthikeyan says that the school did not give his son the mandatory transfer certificate to continue his studies elsewhere.
First, I had to get an order, High Court order for the issue of TC. Second, I had to get a High Court order for my son to appear in the practical examination. Third, I had to get a High Court order to make my son appear for the written examination.
Karthikeyan says that the transfer certificate he managed to secure was riddled with errors, which led to a fresh dispute with the school in Vellore, where his son went to continue his studies. He says he paid 20,000 rupees to this school as donation to get a transfer certificate again for his son. And this is despite a court order in his favour.
The donation of 20,000 rupees had more weightage and importance than High Court order.
This case not only highlights the determination of a parent and schools that stick to their ways, but also education authorities doing little or nothing to help people like Karthikeyan.
This fight is not his alone. This is only a sample of several parents' fight against school managements that are inflexible and uncaring in their attitude. In Chennai, Pir Mohammed, Ndtv-Hindu.
Well, up ahead on the bulletin, Pranab Babu replies to the adjournment motion decision. He says his government has not failed. Also coming up, he may have retired from tests, but there's a volley of exchanges between Muralidharan and a former Indian captain. Stay tuned.